Hey traders, in this video, I'm going to break down my trading session so far this morning. I want to touch on GBP CAD, which is the big trade that we're still in from Monday. And I want to go through how I built my watch list this morning and what I'm looking at on the pairs that actually made it to my watch list. But before we get into that, I want to remind everybody, if you haven't heard already, that tomorrow, Thursday, April 22nd, we are releasing Backtesting 101. This is a course that Jerome and I have been working on for the last few months, and we're super excited to get it to you guys. Not only is it going to teach you what backtesting is and how to test your trading strategy before you go and put money into it, but we're actually giving you a proprietary, custom, automated, interactive spreadsheet that you're going to be able to use to test any trading system you want, whether you're in ASFX and you want to test the systems for yourself beyond the testing that I've already done for you, you're going to be able to do that. Or if you're trading your own system or you have another idea and you want to test it before you put live money into it, you're going to be able to do that as well using this spreadsheet that Jerome built. Honestly, guys, it is the most detailed spreadsheet that I've ever seen. So if you're interested, I'm going to put a link in the description to a little sneak peek that'll show you a behind the scenes look at the course that we're releasing tomorrow. So you guys will be able to take advantage of that and start testing and proving your trading strategy profitable, which is, I think, step 2 that holds people back. Step 1 is that they don't have a system. I know a lot of you guys listening to me know that we need to be trading with systems and with rules. Otherwise, we're just gambling. So now we're, like I said, taking it to step 2, which is, okay, we have the system. Now let's test it and prove it profitable. So that's what's coming tomorrow. Link in the description for that. Check that out for me. First, let's just take a look at GCAD, where we sit today. Current price as of 8:38 right now, it is at 1.7566. So we're starting to see a little bit of bullish momentum here after, I don't want to say a decent pullback overnight, but just some slowing overnight. If we look back at the last 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, both days finishing very strong, finishing bullish. You can see Monday, ADR was only 114 pips. Monday's move, if you measure top to bottom, was 1.5%. Like I said, the biggest day of 2021 so far. It's 260 pips. So what that did was it actually upped the ADR from 114 to 143, 142.9 right here for Tuesday. Now, yesterday, I'm going to pull this back. I want to just show you how we can use Monday's trade here to create the bias that we can then come in and trade on Tuesday if the technicals line up with it. So Tuesday morning, we see price pulling back, similar to what it did today during the Asian session, pulling back, setting the low of day out of the Asian session as we transition into the London session. Same thing it did here yesterday, right? Right after the Asian session, it sets that low. So after we've set that low, you'll notice the TDI yesterday kind of falling. You can see that here, how it kind of comes down into that seller zone that we talked about in my silver video yesterday and all of my other trade analysis videos. This TDI is really going to tell me where sentiment is. As a new trader in ASFX, you might see this TDI go from the buy zone into the sell zone and say, oh, I don't want to trade that. But what I want you to do as you get more advanced is when you're reading these indicators, keep your fundamental overall bias in mind to see if you can find a significant level to trade off of, because price is always going to outweigh the indicators. And what I mean by that is we wouldn't want to initially trade long here as it stops. We can see that it stopped here because we're looking in hindsight. But if we put this in replay, we wouldn't want to initially go long here because what's it doing? It's moving down overnight. So we're not going to just jump back into longs. But I know some of the guys came in yesterday after my win on Monday, and they said, well, if Austin made money long Monday, we have that trend continuing, maybe we can find a long opportunity here today on Tuesday. Now, it's not going to come here in the morning, in the beginning of the London session. That's right when I start my trading session, like 5 a.m. New York time. It's not coming there because we're in the downshift, we're moving lower. The downshift is when the 8 and 21 EMAs are moving lower, meaning the 8 is under the 21. Here's where they crossed. See that red and yellow cross? So what I'd like to do for longs is have them in an upshift. Now, there is an upshift here as we go into the London session, but as we head into New York, it actually shifts back down. You see the 8 and the 21 cross here. But what's important, like I said, more than the indicators, is price. So when we test the low of day with this pin, but do not break it, we're starting to see the RSI and TDI starting to curl back up towards the buy zone. This is a level that we could go down to the 1 minute and look for a D1 entry long following the overall uptrend off the significant level set back here at low of day. Because we know if it takes out low of day, we can get out of the trade. So that gives us where we would want to get out of the trade. So that gives us an identifiable risk point at that low of day. So if we take it to the 1 minute, I'll show you where you can look to draw divergence to set up that risk reward. right here, 8 into 9 into 10 o'clock. You can see yesterday, this is the 20th, 420. You can see here, RSI is rising left to right. Price action is falling. That's bullish divergence because the RSI is rising. Now, for the D1 entry, I'm normally looking for it to retest the 50 EMA and give me a significant test with the L50 and TDI in the buy zone. Here, you do not get that. So this is a little bit tougher on the 1 minute to find that risk point and the trigger signal, but as long as you know, going back to the 15 minute, where you want your risk, you're going to be able to, at some point, identify a potential trigger. And here, I like that the 8 and 21 on the 1 minute are crossing up. You're making higher highs. The stop would go right here at the low. You're looking at 19 pips from this point that I'm measuring at from right here. If this is where you looked to take the entry, remember you're trading it as a D1 entry long, and I teach those rules in our course. You're trading it as a D1 long, following the bias created yesterday, right? So now if we come in, here's yesterday's trade, Monday's trade, and then here's Tuesday, with the idea coming in as we head into the end of the New York session. This happens at 10:15 New York time, but notice it runs over 100 pips again, right? The day before it was a almost 200 pip move. Now another 100 pip rip. Here, trading off the significant level at low of day, and notice the entry candle that we take entry on breaks the 8 EMA. The next bar has the 8 and the 21 EMA cross, and it holds the 8 EMA throughout the entire move, telling you candle by candle to hold the trade and piece yourself out at R multiples. So if you're risking 19, you're taking some profit at 1.5, 2R right here, 28, 30 pips, taking off some more at 2.5, 2R, taking off some more up here at 3R, taking off some more here at 4R. That's exactly how I would manage it. Some more at 5R, and I would continue to move the stop up as the trade moves. That's why I'm still in my GCAD trade from Monday, because my entry is all the way down here, and now my stop is up near this low of day. So as we move into today, and it looks like it wants to continue higher possibly, my stop is already down here. So if it wants to turn down, it'll never come near my entry. So that's how you can mitigate the risk and protect all of your positions. So notice here, the 15-minute TDI, not that clean, right? Because it drops into the sell zone comparative to yesterday, how it held in the buy zone. So when you go to the 1 minute and you don't get that super clean retest, if you're trading our systems, my point that I take out of setups like this is that when you have a shittier 15-minute setup, meaning the TDI isn't as good as it could be, your 1 minute entry is not going to be as clean as it was the day before, where you have that retest, you know exactly where to get in. You might need to be willing to say, hey, I just like the risk here. It meets all the parameters of an entry. I'm not going to wait for the retest. I'm going to get in case it moves. Because the 15-minute TDI here is a little bit not as good as it could be. It could be better. So your entry is going to have to be a little bit more flexible. I don't want to say it's harder. You just need to be flexible and know your risk point and keep your bias overall. So that was yesterday's move. And now today, you would say, Austin, well, would we come in today and still look for longs? Yes. But on the third day of the trade, on the third day of the move, today is Wednesday, with the TDI coming down into the sell zone now, plus we're seeing a lot of divergence forming. You see going all the way back to Monday's RSI high, that RSI is actually falling while price continues to rise. Just because I'm already in it, and just because the setup today is not that great, I'm going to pass. Like, I didn't trade this yesterday. It was after 10 o'clock, after my trading session, and I didn't want to take a trade with the L50 swapping like this. Same thing today. With the L50 swapping like this, I'm not necessarily in love with taking it long. Now, deeper than that, and if you're following me, I know I talk fast. If you're following me, comment below. Just say, I don't know why, blueberries. Comment below blueberries this far into the video if you're still following my analysis so far. Now, today, like I said, we have that divergence on top. Why I'm not in love with the longs today to add to my position is because of the TDI mainly. I do think it's going to continue to move up because of that higher time frame bias. But what we can also do is look at the rest of my watch list and look at GU. From yesterday, I'm actually looking at GU as a D2 idea. So D1s are in-trend pullbacks where we're taking advantage of a pullback and we know the direction of trend we want to trade. D2s are reversal ideas, calling the top, calling the bottom, seeing things go back against trend, so to speak. So now on GU, we have the big move on Monday on all the GBP pairs. Tuesday, this pulls back. As this pulled back down yesterday, the bearish divergence on top with that RSI falling and price rising got me interested for the D2. And as it holds underneath the blue 50 EMA here and breaks for a new low of day right there, with the TDI pulling itself into the sell zone, that's where I would look for risk with my stop at most recent lower high. This is the same idea yesterday that I'm looking at today on GA. You can look at GBP AUD today, see that bearish divergence on top. We have one break of the 50, second break of the 50, lower highs, third break of the 50, stop at the most recent lower high. Now, I called this out to our group chat. I'll show you right here. I called this out to the group chat this morning. I've been sharing my ideas as we've been going, but I told them I'm not in it. I'm just marking it for testing because I'm already long a GBP pair, so I don't want to go short a different GBP pair. I'd rather just watch today with my stop locked on my GCAD trade and stay flat because maybe GCAD continues higher and this D2 idea that I have here to see this come down, maybe it doesn't work. Maybe this holds here and comes up following that GBP bullish trend that we're in. So it's tough for me to short against it, especially when I have that long position still on. But you can look at today and see this GA idea for it to come lower as the TDI is coming down. It might pull up for a little and still finish the day down here at the 200 or maybe lower. But then also now we're looking at GU from yesterday with the D2, seeing the TDI hold the sell zone. We're seeing that with a short bias today. So two GBP pairs saying short bias today. That's another reason why I'm not super in love with trying to buy GCAD again today. So that's all my thoughts on the GBP pairs. Now, I want to show you Euro JPY just because this divergence is super important. I know this TDI is screaming at you to short it, and after the big move down yesterday afternoon, you would think, okay, the short bias is in, let's hold this and see if we can find some shorts. Just draw simple divergence to help you avoid choppy trades. And kind of like shitty setups is the way I would describe it. See the RSI low here? Connect this point to the price action low so far today. That's what I did right here. RSI to RSI, price action to price action. Notice how when it comes down off the 50 and the 21, it respects the divergence line from earlier. Notice this pin here. Where does it go? If I extend this line, right to the divergence line. Notice this pin, right to the divergence line. So these divergence lines are very important. I don't trade into them unless I can get enough risk reward with there's enough space to it. Here, there is definitely not enough space to it. It's very close, which tells me this might be done falling. It might pull back up. There might not be a short opportunity on this today, but it's still on my watch list. Still going to keep an eye on it, but I just don't love it with that divergence present. And then on Euro USD, TDI is in the sell zone. We've seen it move lower from yesterday, so still short biased here, but because we don't have any strong bearish divergence from yesterday, we just have a little bit of divergence today. You can see the RSI rising right here, like that. That divergence is concerning, but it wouldn't keep me out of going short. What I don't love here is ADR is only 20 pips away, so unless we could get a 10 pip or smaller stop loss, the risk reward might not be that good. Just because we don't know if it's going to break through the 56, 57 pip ADR or if it's going to stop there. So I always pay attention to ADR to make sure I'm not trading a pair that's already made its move for the day. And also notice the 800 EMA is below us, so technically it's counter trend, right? So not a super solid idea with the divergence and the ADR and the counter trend on EU. I feel honestly my best idea of the day is this GA idea. I feel like this will come down to the 200 EMA, but these were the four pairs that I was watching the most. I guess five if you call GCAD one of the pairs, but I'm not looking to trade GCAD today. I'm just looking to hold my position. Let me erase this and this. Just looking to hold my position back here from Monday, which at most was up 260 pips last night. It looks like we'll probably exceed that today. We might get 300 pips out of this. If you look at this on the daily time frame, there's the entry marked when I took the entry. See this big black bar? That is the biggest bar of the day for 2020. As you can see, it was about 1.5% in a single day. If you look back 2021, sorry, did I say 2020? Biggest bar of the day for 2021. If you look back at the beginning of the year, you can see we've had some pretty big days. This was the second biggest day. Whoops. Right here. This was March 12th. It dropped almost a full percent that day. So being involved in the biggest day of the year so far is pretty exciting. And it honestly it makes me want to hold this trade until Friday, just so I can see if we're going to get more push towards the 1.77 or 1.78 price level. So that's my analysis for the morning. Nothing super crazy, just following trend. I'll show you here like Euro GBP. A couple of these pairs just don't make my watch list today because I don't like the TDI. There's no clear sentiment. Buyer sentiment was in control, then seller sentiment takes over control. It's swapping. I'm not really interested in that. Euro NZD, same thing. EMAs are coming into a downtrend, it looks like, but TDI started the day in the buy zone. Can't trade that right now. Euro CAD had a couple of good bullish moves Monday and Tuesday. Today, you could say you would look for longs here, but I don't know how because the TDI is falling. It's oversold. It's in a downshift. It just recently shifted up. So yes, the trend can continue, but you might not find a clear setup with good risk reward. Euro AUD, same thing, swapping TDI, not really interested in that. GBP CHF, swapping TDI, not really interested in those. I want clean TDIs so I can identify clean trend and take advantage of that. Just look at my GCAD trade to start the week. Look at the TDI going into that trade. It was beautiful all day Monday, clearly telling me that this wanted to move higher, and it's doing exactly that. Look at UCHF. TDI is in the buy zone, so you'd expect long movement. You know how much this thing moves today? Top to bottom, 30 pips. ADR on this thing is like 50. It sucks. 52. So you could see this move up towards the 800 EMA. That would be the counter trend move. If you're following this TDI, trading towards the 800, that would be the idea. So that could happen. I could see that happening. UJ, swapping TDI, nothing on that. I'll mark UJ on the list here so I can see if there's an idea that presents on it, but not a big fan of UCHF. Anything with CHF, I'm not a huge fan of. So it is Wednesday. Tomorrow, the backtesting course is released. We have 2 more trading days left. Hopefully, we can find another 1 or 2 solid ideas. But look at my week this week. It's been 1 good trade, and I've just been managing that trade. Next week, I might find 3 or 5 or none. I can't predict that. I just show up every morning and do my best. And something that I did for myself this week was Tuesday, I slept in because I knew my trade was in profit. I checked it Monday night. Stop loss was locked, had a small piece left in. I was up late Tuesday watching some YouTube videos with Riley, and I just slept in Tuesday night or Tuesday morning because I was like, I don't need to rush to get to the charts because there is no expectation from anybody except me. I'm holding myself accountable to just being my best. And sometimes being your best means get rest. Wear a whoop so you can track your recovery. Get good recovery because then you come in and you can make smarter decisions and make more money. And that's the goal. So we'll wrap the video up here. I feel like this has been a lot of analysis. I'm going to probably get another video or 2 done this week, but I want to know if you guys like these morning style trade recaps where I'm just dropping you into my morning, whether I'm in a trade or I'm not in a trade. I'm going to give you analysis on what I like, what I don't like. I just want to know if it helps. So hit the comments. If you watched all the way through, blueberries is the comment, and tell me, yo, this helps, Austin. I actually enjoy this. Or say, no, Austin, I don't like this format. Go back to making notes and talk scripted videos in front of that. Just tell me what you like, because I want to only make videos that help you guys make more money and make better trading decisions. So get hyped for the backtesting course. I'm going to make sure there's links in the description to this video and all my other videos this week. I'm going to keep talking about it because I think it's going to make a big difference in your trading. And if it doesn't, I'll give you your money back. But nobody's ever asked me for money back on our main course, so I don't think anybody's going to ask me for money back on the backtesting course. So check it out. Like I said, I know it's going to make a difference for you. I appreciate the time. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys in the next video.